Good evening, listeners. Welcome back to the Missing 411 podcast. Tonight, we delve into a series of truly terrifying encounters, tales that push the limits of what we consider reality and bleed into the realm of high strangeness. These are the stories that help us understand the inexplicable factors underlying the most disturbing unexplained disappearances we document. These terrifying accounts span decades and traverse vast distances, from the dusty rural backroads of Wisconsin to the deeply isolated, ancient forests of northern Minnesota. At the center of these incidents is a cryptid known only as the Dogman, a towering, immensely powerful, and often highly malicious apex predator. What truly sets these stories apart from simple animal attacks is the distinct pattern of integrated paranormal phenomena they display. We're talking about things like the inexplicable draining of battery power, the physical manipulation of solid objects like vehicles, and the chilling convergence of multiple cryptids in a single, defined zone. This is far beyond a study of wild beasts. Instead, this investigation is a deep dive into what we at Missing 411 believe is a persistent tear in reality, a dimensional rift that allows terrifying entities to cross into our world. Tonight, we begin where so many of these high-strangeness cases start, on a lonely road at dusk, when the veil between our world and theirs grows impossibly thin. The first account, a classic Dogman sighting, takes us back to the late 1990s, near Burnett County, Wisconsin. A witness was driving a large Cadillac at dusk when their headlights settled on a dark gray figure standing directly on the road, half a mile ahead. As they cautiously moved closer, the figure resolved into a creature with an unsettlingly long, elongated muzzle. It was bent over, apparently preoccupied, eating a dead rabbit that it held with what the witness absolutely confirmed were human-like hands. The creature possessed the signature Dogman profile: enormously wide, muscular shoulders, a coat of coarse fur thicker than a bear's, and pointy, alert ears standing straight up like those of a German shepherd. The confrontation peaked when the witness activated the high beams. The creature slowly turned to face the car, and its eyes, caught in the brilliant light, glowed a terrifying, malevolent reddish-orange. The witness was instantly overwhelmed by the visceral feeling that this entity was fundamentally demonic in nature, something inherently evil. In the next instant, the creature stood up, shifting its entire weight onto its back legs, its movement described as jerky, almost unnatural, as if its frame was straining under the change. In a shocking burst of speed, it then sprinted directly at the vehicle. The only reason the witness survived was by flooring the gas, narrowly avoiding a catastrophic impact. As the creature peeled away and dropped back to all fours, the witness saw a crucial detail that defies known biology. The legs had a bizarre, reverse articulation, bending like backward knees. The encounter left no doubt. This was a highly intelligent, predatory entity capable of rapid bipedal movement, placing it squarely in the cryptid category. Our second account, from Carbon County, Montana, in 2004, offers a strange and baffling contrast to the aggression we just heard about. A very young child, only 4 or 5 years old, woke up one mid-August night to see a furry silhouette framed in their open window. This creature was described as having pointed, tufted ears and a German shepherd muzzle. The most arresting feature was its eyes, which were a striking frost blue. It was muscular, but instead of threatening the child, the creature demonstrated inexplicable behavior. It smiled, like a dog might, and then calmly tilted its massive head in a gesture of curiosity. The encounter ended with the creature retreating, calmly stepping over a chain-link fence, a bipedal feat of balance, before dropping to all fours and running into the nearby prairie. As it ran, the witness heard it yipping and barking, a sound interpreted as a distinct call, perhaps signaling its location to others. This non-aggressive, almost evaluative behavior is consistent with patterns reported in certain UFO disappearances or close alien abduction scenarios. The third profile comes from Oxford County, Maine, in 2001. An anonymous night owl looked out their window and saw what they initially misidentified as a naked man sitting on a rooftop. It was only as the figure turned its face that the true horror was revealed. The creature had a long snout and pointed, dog-like ears. It was covered entirely in hair or fur, sitting upright on its haunches with human-looking arms and legs. The visual clash, a massive, 7-foot cryptid casually perched on a suburban roof, is a defining characteristic of high-level paranormal activity where the veil of normal reality is violated. These 3 sightings establish the basic Dogman profile: immense size, canine head, bipedal capacity, and a terrifying, malevolent presence. However, our final case moves beyond simple identification and places us directly into a frightening dimensional rift zone. In a specific area of northern Minnesota, close to the Canadian border, one isolated property has been a frightening hotspot for cryptids for generations. Activity is so constant that multiple families of dogmen and Sasquatch are known to coexist, having been actively tracked by the residents. An investigative team, which included a highly trained Army veteran tracker, set out to document this activity. What they discovered was not just a natural habitat, but an environment under active, intelligent manipulation, a signature of the forces we often encounter in missing 411 cases. During daylight reconnaissance, the team found clear evidence of the creature's unsettling tactical intelligence. They found an observational point, a high bluff, where the grass was crushed down over 20 feet. This spot offered an unobstructed, perfect view of the houses and hunting pastures, confirming the existence of lazy hunters employing deliberate, high-ground strategy. Deep inside the woods, they located the Dogman lair. Not only was there a massive resting area, but the site was surrounded by eerie structures made of large, arranged branches, forming a Stonehenge shape. This construction suggests tool use, communal effort, and advanced manipulation of the environment. These creatures are clearly not simple animals. While the team was moving through the dense woods, they experienced a common, yet profoundly terrifying high-strangeness phenomenon. The forest would go dead quiet instantly multiple times. This absolute, sudden silence was the visceral sign of an apex predator actively tracking their movements. The team also recalled the story of the terrifying, unclassified cryptid known as the Stick Man from the area. This was an entity described as being tall with limbs made out of sticks, and an almost impossible flat, two-dimensional, leaf-shaped face. This creature defied all biological explanation. The unsettling mix of Dogman intelligence and unclassified entities suggests that this property is a true nexus, a location where the normal rules of physics are bent and broken. It reminds us of places like Skinwalker Ranch, where the environment itself seems to facilitate the crossing of bizarre creatures through a dimensional rift. The team also encountered the Bigfoot or Sasquatch. During a tense nighttime watch, one was observed through night vision goggles. It was a thick, immensely broad creature with a muscular body and no discernible neck. Its initial behavior was one of cautious curiosity, peering around a pine tree before retreating. This restrained curiosity from the Bigfoot stood in terrifying contrast to the raw hostility of the Dogman. The answer to this behavioral difference may be found in ancient spiritual knowledge, a wisdom often excluded from modern investigations but vital to the context of missing 411. A Lakota man, a spiritual leader with prophetic visions, warned the team that the Dogmen were not animals at all. His ancestral spirits claimed that these creatures were shapeshifters originating from a specific black magic cult. This gives the creature a terrifying spiritual dimension often overlooked in mainstream research. The Lakota spirits issued a direct and specific warning that no one would ever be able to film or capture these creatures. The prophecy gained immediate credence when the Lakota man himself, performing a sacred prayer on the property, heard loud, aggressive scratching at the window, 7 feet off the ground, as if the entity was actively trying to disrupt his spiritual efforts. The Dogman's aggression culminated during a final, harrowing vehicle drive. The team, driving with no lights to maintain stealth, heard a massive slap on the bumper. Then, an inexplicable event. The dirt trail was suddenly flooded with rushing water, despite no rain and no known water source. It was recognized as a clear entrapment lure to stop the vehicle. The high-strangeness escalated wildly, demonstrating the Dogman's power over technology. A team member's flashlight failed instantly upon being turned on, and a perfectly charged cell phone was later found completely drained of power, a classic energy-sapping signature of UFO disappearances or high-strangeness areas. The final moment of terror came when the tracker slammed the accelerator to escape. The car wouldn't move. The tracker later revealed the impossible truth. The Dogman had physically lifted the rear of the vehicle, preventing the wheels from gaining traction. This wasn't a mechanical failure. It was a physical demonstration of sheer, malevolent strength intended to trap and likely kill. As they finally escaped, the final sighting occurred. The Dogman head, impossibly high in the trees, a massive silhouette with silver-tipped fur illuminated by the moon. The tracker also revealed one terrifying detail he had withheld until they were safe. He saw 6 or 7 small, thin, 3-foot-tall bodies, the little people of legend, scattering near the vehicle. This location is a chilling nexus of multiple phenomena: Dogmen, Sasquatch, supernatural energy drain, and the presence of the little people. This incredible convergence suggests the terrifying possibility that the creatures and the unusual effects are all manifestations leaking through a single-dimensional rift, making the area a true anomaly. The Dogman's impossible strength, its power over electricity, and its ability to appear and disappear quickly hint at a terrifying, non-linear existence, perhaps connected to a time travel mystery or an entity that simply does not obey the physics of our dimension. It is at the edge of this dimensional rift that the tragic and inexplicable vanishings documented in Missing 411 often occur.